Well, our next guest wanted a baby girl so badly they mortgaged their house and travelled to California to undergo gender selection treatment. And Jane Cornwall is here to tell us about it, along with husband Jonathan and little daughter Emmy. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Jane, if I can start with you, you've got three
Yep.
three healthy boys. Tell us why you wanted a little girl so badly.
When John and I first got married, like any other couple, we sat down and discussed our future and what we envisioned for that, and in that was both a son and a daughter. And my husband wanted a little girl that one day he could walk down the aisle. I wanted a daughter so that I could have that relationship, the bond between a mother and a daughter. Our sons both wanted a little sister, and it was just for us completing our family puzzle.
So the whole family wanted this. Jonathan, tell us what's involved in the gender selection process.
Well, look, it's basically IVF. There is zero difference in IVF. The only difference is, at the end of the day, the doctor and the family know what the embryo is that you're using. So obviously we want a little girl after having 3 boys. So we decided we were going to implant a little girl and complete the pieces of our puzzle to make our family complete.
And Jane, you've talked about gender disappointment. Can you explain exactly what that was for you?
It's like mourning the death of a child that you never had. Gender disappointment is like any other form of depression. It's like post-traumatic stress disorder. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I know heaps of women that live on antidepressants that survive by going and speaking to therapists each week, and I think that there is a better answer. There is an answer, PGD.
Was it difficult to explain that to your 3 sons? I mean, I'm presuming you had gender disappointment after having each of your boys, did you?
No, not after each of them. We were thrilled when our first was a son, and our second, it was only when we had our third that we tried all the natural things, all the diets, all the positions, all the old wives' tales, but none of them worked. And I think then that's when it struck me the hardest. And that's when we decided that we were going to go and seek medical intervention for our next pregnancy.
It was actually our doctor that brought it up, and our sons, you know, they come from big schools with lots of families with boys and girls. They're the ones that desperately wanted a little girl as much as what we did. So as a family, it was a holistic decision from all of us. Should we do something like this?
So all up, how much did it cost?
Probably around the $50,000 mark, I suppose. We had one failed attempt earlier in the year last year, and then the second successful attempt. So, you know, it's not cheap, but from our perspective, we balanced it out by being able to give a little baby boy to someone that we'll never get to meet, who could never have a child. So for us, it was an even balance of we wanted something and we could give someone else something. Money came into it as, you know, it's hard, it's expensive, we've saved for a long time, but what do you do?
At the moment, gender selection is illegal in Australia. Do you think that should change, Jane?
Yeah, I think it should. People are very misguided on PGD and gender selection and actually what it is. I think people are very over-opinionated on something that they're uneducated about. Just because you don't have a use for PGD, well then simply don't use it. But don't take that choice away from somebody else because you don't know how much it might mean to them.
She's very healthy little, little set of
very happy,
there.
healthy little girl.
Jonathan, can you understand, because I know there's been a huge reaction to the story, can you understand people being concerned that this could lead to basically designer babies?
It's impossible, though. I understand the thought concept behind it, but unless you understand the medical procedure, it is IVF. You can't design hair colour, eye colour, height, weight, any of those things. It is purely IVF. It's purely myself, herself being put together as a normal IVF procedure, which many people around the world use, and it was legal here until, you know, only a few years ago. I suppose the ethics side of it, people don't understand that, so they think, well, hang on, you're doing something that's unnatural, but it's certainly not. You know, you're just completing something that makes you so happy. And look.
There you go. Carl loves a bit of a raspberry blow.
Uncle Carl's taking her away.
You may not get her back again. So, just finally, you've got embryos on ice at the moment.
We do, yep.
And they're all girls, are they?
Yep, 2 little girls, yep.
And there was a little boy as well?
There was a little boy, and we've donated him. He's actually currently pregnant somewhere in the world. We don't know who with.
Well, he's not necessarily pregnant.
Well, sorry,
probably the parents.
the parents are, but you know, somewhere in the world, come that 4 months ago, we had the phone call that someone has decided that they would like him. Would we happily go along those lines to adopt him out? And it was never a second question for us. Absolutely, if we can make someone else's dream come true, absolutely. We'll
All
do it
right.
again.
Well, we very much appreciate you coming on the show.
No problems.
It is a hot topic.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, it's good that you came in, and hopefully it clears things up
I
for a
hope
lot
so.
of people who are watching, and hopefully you get your daughter back.
Yeah, with any luck.
Jonathan, Jane, thanks very much for
Thanks
that.
for having us.
And we'd love to know your thoughts on that issue. You can send us an email, a tweet, or a message on Facebook. Over to you, Carlos. You're on.
What a little koala bear. Well, President Obama's landmark speech in Brisbane put climate change and our Great Barrier Reef firmly back on the agenda. But there's no doubt there's a lot of work going on to protect some of our more endangered species. Our Queensland reporter Lauren Ellis went to visit the largest population of loggerhead turtles in the Southern Hemisphere to see conservation in action.